The stories you've never heard.
Who did Suzanne Hill famously slap?
The jokes behind the jokes.
What would happen if I did a great big fart?
For the first time ever on Ash, Lachie, and Susie O'Neill.
That Chando just peed a pants.
We go behind the laughter.
Yes, it is. It's the Producers Podcast. We're at the end of the week. 9:18. The gang have cleared out of the studio and they're off on a little break now. Just heading off for a week. Just a September refresh. Hello, Lachie. It's
Hello.
Nick here. How are you? You finished your big week in the big chair?
Yeah, look, I'd have a bit of a bone to pick with you right there.
Oh, Jesus.
I wish I had the ability to replay exactly what happened at the start of this podcast.
Is it my cough?
You coughed. You didn't press. There's a button specifically on the little button thing in front of you.
Yeah, it says cough mute. Like, it wasn't a cough. It was more a clear of the throat.
Yeah, but unfortunately...
Poor technique. I get it.
The start of this podcast is now ruined by your little... And we don't want to treat the listeners to that.
No, we don't have it. I mean, I expect that from Alicia, but not from me. Understandable. I got to be better. And that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm not saying the wheels are falling off, Lachie.
No.
But...
And I mean, Alicia usually is here. She's the one who's, cracking cans of Diet Coke or Coke Zero, whatever it's called now. I think they're two separate products. But now that she's not here, in her place, I guess you're the one...
Yeah, I feel like there was a void that needed to be filled. And
Yep.
Look, honestly, maybe some of our listeners were expecting that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
That's
but anyway,
true.
I'm trying to move on from it. You're clearly trying to drag me back through the ringer.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Now, will you be dragging anyone else through the ringer when you go on your sabbatical down to a different state?
I don't think you can call it a sabbatical when you're still working. I think the whole
true.
idea of a sabbatical actually stems from the Christian belief, or not necessarily Christian, it's Jewish as well. On the seventh day, God rested, and that's called a Sabbath. And so a sabbatical comes from that same word, where it is to rest, and it's not going to be a resting time for me.
No, yeah, I think we've sort of like corrupted that and made it like you're on a study trip, you're on a learning trip.
Yeah.
But that's not what you're doing clearly now. So, Lachie, where are you going to be next week?
I am going to be producing the breakfast show for Brisbane. But also Adelaide and Perth. There's going to be a national show. Well, it's semi-national because Melbourne and Sydney are still going through this 1 week break.
Right.
They're doing their own thing. But in Brisbane, you'll be treated to the wonderful Mel Tresina, who you hear across the day anyway, and then Matt from Maddie and Gina, who star on the Central Coast, which is another, I guess, Nova Entertainment sibling.
There we go. The next
station.
The next one up, Mentality. Yes, absolutely. We raid the stables and the talent factory that we just keep producing. Like just star after star.
From star. So Maddie from Maddie and Gina and Mel from Mel Tresina is what I'm calling the show.
It's a stretch, but look, that's the power that you have now. So
yeah. It rolls off the tongue nicely, I think. In the same way that some of the clues I've been giving this week for Rackley's.
I think you've built perfectly. Like if you're doing like preparation specifically just for 1 week of producing on a different show, then yeah, I think you're peaking right now.
Really?
I think this is this week where
some of my best work.
This has been timed very nicely. Like Alicia, we're going away. Just gave you 1 week just to warm up, and now you go. I'd say you go national, but you're kind of just sort of just north of the Barassi line, really. You'll have the rest of the country.
Yeah, it's semi-national is what I'll call it. It's the other states because let's be real, Sydney and Melbourne, they've got their own thing going on. They like to fight between those two states, those two cities as well.
Let them
as to who's the best in Australia.
No one cares.
Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, I would say, some of the most beautiful cities this summer.
Most beautiful and the fun states too.
Oh yeah,
best people always come out of them.
And it's going to be, I guess, a fun show. So I mean, you'll miss Ash, Lutz and Sue's, but
I miss them already.
Tune in on Monday because you'll hear a show that is produced by one of this team, e.g. me.
Yeah, you'll be really about to hear Lachie's hands all over the show.
Yeah,
like
and if you've loved this show this week, there'll be another week of it.
Oh, imagine the clues. They're going to be truly incredible.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, mate. That's
Thank you.
That's awesome news. And also, we love seeing development throughout our talent program here. Now, Lachie, it's probably actually very good news that we're all going away for the next week because in the past 48 hours, I have literally stunk out the studio and our entire airlock.
I'll be honest. I was in the room yesterday when you were doing your thing in the news booth.
Doing my thing.
I think you were thinking that it would not affect anyone else because you were rubbing deep heat on your body.
I was.
In preparation for your Division 4.
Yep.
Funny. Aussie Rules final.
Why do people always lead with that? Anyway, not the point.
I think
Ash really grabs onto the Division 4 element.
Well, I think that's part of the comedy of it, is that it's like you are...
Okay, this is serious. What are you talking about?
No, hey, as someone who is who runs a football team and helps run a football club that is also similar levels, if not lower stakes in the grand scheme of things.
It's all relative, mate.
It is all relative. And you can bet that I was absolutely buzzing the other night when we scored in our Division 2 Church League grand final. It's not the high stakes. But anyway.
But at the same time, I've seen that Church League and it's very impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's well run. Anyway, I think the idea that it's Division 4 and that you are rubbing deep heat 2 days in advance into your body, it was just funny to the guys.
Lachie, I'm not a professional athlete, therefore I am a lot sorer and a lot less access to recovery. Therefore I have to take matters into my own hands.
Hey, I totally agree with you. I totally understand it. But I think I hope you can appreciate the comedy.
It is objectively hilarious.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
And then today you were doing the exact same thing.
Double down.
And I think the air conditioner between
we learned something about the build of our airlock, didn't we? Because I thought in the newsroom, which is like double glazed glass, completely soundproof, doesn't mean it's not air or smell proof. So it turns out the air must float through. Because yesterday I actually watched Ash through the window, like a dog, start sniffing the air, like. You can see something nostalgic had triggered within him.
Yeah.
And then Sue's caught on, Lachie caught on. They all Ash used his powers of deduction to work out it was me. And, I mean, I think they enjoyed it, had the nostalgia element. But
well, I was in the studio. I don't know why I was in the studio at that exact point, but someone said, can you smell deep heat? And we were going, yeah, actually, it's kind of faint. And then, yeah, as you say, Ash, exactly like a sniffer dog, just tracked it down. And I think at that exact time, you were doing some sort of stretch on the floor. Yeah. And so it was a little bit like...
I was rolling on my trigger ball. Yeah.
It has to be Nick. Like, there's no one else in this studio or in this airlock that would be putting...
Inspector Clouseau could have put that together.
Yeah. I think
Ash should have done some great detective work.
Blue's Clues. Like, that's a... If you're watching Blue's...
Is it over there?
Yeah.
No! Yeah, real kids entertainment program there. Behind you! Over here? I mean, it's a great trope, but it works really well.
It was very good. Anyway, so yes, this morning you came into the studio,
double down,
wearing your deep heat, and it was like, the team in here was
stings
just
the nostrils.
Yeah, we're going. Sorry, what? Why? What are you doing? So. Good fun. I hope for your sake though that you get up tonight and it'll be worth it.
When I lather myself in it, it's just what I do now. I don't even know if it works. It's one of those things. You told me about someone that takes Panadol preemptively before a game.
Yeah.
The problem is with that sort of stuff, it just becomes habit at that point, and you don't want to go into a game without your weird little thing. Hey, well done for covering your mouth while you coughed.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
You probably still be able to hear it on the recording, picked up on your microphone. But yeah, look. What a fun day! It's the end of the week, end of the show for at least semester. Term 3.
Yeah, term 3. I always viewed it as a school calendar.
Yep, I think most people do. My wife
holidays?
goes on school holidays next week, well today actually, so she's pretty pumped for that. As far as teasing next week, there's not much to tease. So let's recap the week that was.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I was going to say, so first of all, like our call of the week.
Oh,
let's just go back there, and I updated the caption of the video of that.
Yeah.
May have been decided to fire a little shot across the bow at some other stations.
Oh.
I missed
it.
If you'll read the caption, I used do you remember the SpongeBob meme from about 3 or 4 years ago, where it's kind of like a sarcastica font where every second letter is capitalized?
Yes.
So I've gone, our callers are the real stars of our show. Okay, our callers are maniacs.
I'll be honest, I missed that.
Oh no, I only changed it last night, so people will not have noticed. But
okay,
look, it has been. It's been a very interesting week, and I mean, yes, maybe there was a little bit of toxic masculinity within that, but the comic timing of AA Ron there was objectively hilarious.
It was.
It was so wildly unnecessary, it was so jarring. It was funny.
Yeah, for me, I was listening to it and I'm going, as the EP. There is something strange
about... So you are referring to yourself as the EP. There we go.
As the stand-in EP, it's one of those things, when you were sitting in that seat, your ears are going, I'm like censoring this thing. Obviously, Buzz is the one that has ultimate control. He can press the dump button. But I'm going, what's funny about this? I'm really analytical. Whereas when you're just doing the log, you're kind of just going, I'm just making note of everything. Yeah. And so he made that joke. And that's not genuinely a joke that I would laugh at. And I don't think I actually laughed in the moment. But I remember going, he's nailed the timing. the words he says, I'm not a fan. I'm not necessarily a fan of calling someone that. But he just, I don't know. He nailed it. And then there was some banter afterwards. That reinforced that this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's a funny character.
Yeah. So I was going to say, like, every now and then, like, I don't expect all our callers to be like comic geniuses, and sometimes the fun comes from the fact that they are not.
Yes.
But in that moment, we got a live one, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun. So well done, AA Ron. Proud of you for that.
Fantastic, Aaron. We did do Rackley's all this week, giving out clues as to where Mitch was going to be. All Rackley's locations, because that's client integration, baby. That's commercial radio.
Oh, they dominate the swimming pools of Brisbane. I know. A former coach of mine runs a rival swim school.
Oh,
and Rackley's are their number one competitor.
Well, yeah,
but Rackley's are running the game at the moment.
And to be fair, they're the ones who are spending money with us, so we're going to
love them.
We're going to give them as much love as possible. I got to a point on Wednesday, because obviously we do this podcast on a Wednesday. We'd already kind of talked a little bit about the clues, specifically for that Genderly pool one, and I was like, do you know what? Creatively, it's very hard to come up with some clues when the location is always going to be a pool.
And I'm also going to say that it's not your number one priority of your day to work out 3 cryptic clues in a row.
And I mean, as far, like, obviously we do stuff for clients, and that's a big part of the way that commercial radio works, and we give them as much love as possible. But at the same time, it's like, in the grand scheme of things, not something that I need to spend 2 hours on trying to craft these clues. As Buzz said,
you're not sitting down there in the writer's room trying to work it out with the team around you.
As Buzz said, we're not giving away $1 million. We're giving away some fun swim packs. And so on Wednesday afternoon, writing the clues for Thursday, I was like, I know this is placed on the Corso. I'm going to have some fun with this and make up a saying that no one ever says. Like, I think it's one of my favorite jokes, one of my favorite comic
little bits, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, as the saying goes,
and
then saying something that no one has ever said before, like a sentence that is never said. And so, yeah, as the saying goes, when you're on the Corso, make sure you sunscreen your torso.
My favorite, like, building on that joke formula, I love adding someone's name as just a fake quote. I remember when Lonely Island did it with just going, as my friend Jimmy Fallon always says, and then just inserting a completely made up quote. I love quote tiles on going back into my world of social media.
ClickHole is great for this.
Quote tiles are magnificent for that, and you can do it so well. And the problem is people fall for this.
Oh yeah,
there was a great one specifically last year. Now again, you would have seen so many just clearly. Actually, the extra layer is putting the wrong person's name under the photo of the name then a wrong joke. But last year, there was actually a massive thing. One of the great AFL commentators and sort of journalists, Gerard Whateley on SEN, someone pretty much copied, you'd be familiar, and I put up a quote tile this morning, for example. It's called a quote tile. It's a photo of the person who says it. They've said it on our show. So I used Lachie Neal this morning when he talked about playing at Giant Stadium ahead of the semi-final. I put a photo of that, his quote, and a photo, and Lachie Neal talking about Energy Stadium. It's very obvious, but if you learn what that format is, copy the font. It's not hard to do. So someone posted last year, just in like an AFL forum, Gerard Whateley on this very pretty okay Geelong player, and said, Brian Myers is the Lionel Messi of the AFL. And it went nuts.
Yeah, great.
Because so many people, I reckon 50% of people completely bought it.
Yes.
The other 50 went, this is clearly a piss take. Yep. And the problem is, wonderful journalist, but obviously not au fait with social media. Gerard Whateley bit back and said, I would never write this. This is not me. And kept trying to distance himself from it. And it just continued to blow up. By him giving it oxygen, the fire just got out of control.
That's funny.
So now this player, for example, is known as like Grindel Messi. And
love that.
So it's sensational. But yes, I think please keep doing that. Keep working that stuff in.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up the Lonely Island. Lonely Island, obviously.
I think that had a lot to do with our sort of like comedy development. Well, they were big in our sort of development.
If you don't know who the Lonely Island are, three mates who got their real big break on Saturday Night Live. Probably the one that you would know the most is Andy Samberg, and then Yorma and the third one whose name I forget.
I want to say Kevin.
No, it's not Kevin.
Kevin?
No, it's not Kevin. Akiva.
Okay, well, that's close.
Anyway, well, yeah, I guess the key. Anyway, the three of them have created some of the most, I would say, like influential comedies that you and I probably like. Hot Rod was their main one. Popstar is another one that's absolutely hilarious. That is essentially a parody of Justin Bieber. Yeah. Never Say Never. But Andy Samberg being the main character.
You know him from Brooklyn Nine-Nine these days, but yeah, I guess turn of the decade. Songs like Jizz in My Pants.
I'm on a boat.
Dick
in a Box.
Again, all of that, and they came from
Lazy Sunday was their first kind of massive, I guess, break on Saturday Night Live, and I would actually argue that they are the reason we have YouTube in the way that it is today.
Yeah, so digital shorts, for example, they went, okay, well, we can't get writing. We can write on Saturday Night Live, but we can't get a lot of these live sketches because the big names have those.
Yeah,
and they said, what if you just make stuff for it and we'll put it on our YouTube platform back in the day when people didn't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And they
used it on the show as bumpers. So like the way that Saturday Night Live works is that obviously it's a live sketch show. They're doing these live sketches with these live sets, and you need essentially bumpers or pre-recorded bits or something just to go from one I guess, sketch to the other sketch. And so by playing a video, it allows people to go in there, take stuff off the stage, bump in the new set. And yeah, these digital shorts were really the foundation of YouTube as we know it today.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we're even talking about this because just this past week. Oh, what was that?
That freaked me out.
That was sorry. Something in the studio has just started like making noise.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was listening to both. Their podcast that they do with Seth Meyers, and just learning more about kind of their backstory and hearing. I listened to 2 hours on Hot Rod the movie where they were just breaking down, I guess, scene by scene how things were done. So weird coincidence. How bizarre, as we would say on this show.
We do. God damn it! Stop breaking format.
No, I mean, we actually do. We do say.
No, I know we do. But that's the thing. I now don't know what to trust. Now, Lachie, our listeners don't know what to trust.
I know. So I'm just trying to find the hook. Here you go.
How bizarre!
And not a second too late either.
No. Well timed. Comedy timing is something that I'm really good at.
That's it. And you can learn more from it, and you'll hear that sort of timing next week.
Yeah.
Starting 6 a.m.
You will.
With Mel Tresina and Matt from Matt and Gina.
Yes. I'm gonna pitch that in the meeting today.
Just very quickly, just showing how comfortable I am in our sort of Air Lachie area.
Yeah.
Air Lachie is also an awesome name for you. I just realised. I'd left my water bottle in the Matty Rowe Memorial Studio.
Yep.
And because of the lack of line of sight, I just was head down. I'm like, yep, I know my water bottle's in there. Went to go get in. I forgot that you told me that Sam Frost was in there doing a show.
Yes.
And I just punched through the door as I normally would. And like just like Kramer, just exploding in, and I hadn't even looked up, and I just see her looking at me. I'm like the biggest sort of like over exaggerated, like I'm so sorry. And I'm like, okay, cool. Just turn around, just keep walking. That never happened.
Oh no! Do you know Sam Frost? Does she know you?
No, I have zero relationship with Sam Frost.
Okay, well that's
so, and it'll probably remain that way forever now.
Well, yeah. Now that you've absolutely barged into the studio, she's doing whatever she was doing.
Yeah,
that's not good for you.
I know.
I'm
starting to understand why there's bans in certain radio stations around like entering airlocks.
Would you be willing to issue your own, I guess, quote tile apologizing to Sam Frost?
Yeah. I will steal a Conor McGregor quote. I'd like to apologise for absolutely nothing. The double champ does what he wants.
Are you calling yourself the double champ, or is that after tonight?
Single champ. We'll see how we go.
Okay.
You are hypothetically again, if we do win tonight.
Yep.
Oh, the group chat's in for it.
Okay.
Yeah, our group chat is absolutely in for it.
Okay, there you go. Well, I think that's it.
I think we've lost most of the audience at this point.
So I think we're losing ourselves as well. It's holiday time.
Yeah, it is
for most of us.
Guys, enjoy your school holiday term radio break. However way you want to look at this, and we'll be back with Lachie, who will have developed so far. You think he's good now? Imagine him in a week's time. Incredible.
Oh, well, a week and a couple of days by the time. There won't be a producer's podcast next week, will there? We'll do it down the line.
Ooh. Do you really want to go through the admin of that?
Do you
really want to book a radio line?
That would.
It's the most painful procedure in the world.
You actually don't need. There is a nerdy stuff behind the scenes, we actually don't need to book a line because there is a consistent line going between Melbourne and Brisbane now. So theoretically,
Is it the Inland Rail?
yes.
Sorry, that's a fun infrastructure joke.
All I would have to do is book a studio down in Melbourne, which also seems like a lot of admin.
Honestly, I could FaceTime you from my home studio. We're fine.
Okay,
All right,
sounds good.
Goodbye, everyone.
See ya.